Greetings and salutations, men, women, and children of all ages. Welcome into No One Asked Us. He's Craig. I'm Logan. We got another exciting one for you. We had some football finally into the first full week of college football. The NFL season is a day away, and we got plenty to talk about. As I said, he's Craig Choate. I'm Logan Lee. Give us a follow at No One Asked Us Pod. He's at Craig W. Choate. I'm at the Logan Lee. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. And as always, chapters are always in the description. And yes, this is episode. I can't not laugh at you for doing that. This is episode 69 of the pod.
Nice. Nice.
2. Yes, our 69th episode. Very, very nice. Episode 7 of season 2. Yeah, let's just kind of get into this thing. Craig, how's it going, man? What's going on in your world? Anything new? It's been a busy week. Sorry we didn't get to you sooner. Normally we've been putting these up on Monday evenings. We're a couple days behind now, so apologize for that. So not going to get any much of you really weren't going to get an instant reaction from a Friday night football game from us anyway, but you're especially not going to get that from us now. But how you doing, man? You good? Life good?
Good. Yeah. Spent the holiday weekend at home. So obviously Monday was a holiday. Driving back to Louisville last night, so I was unable to record. So back in Louisville now, ready to rock and roll and get into football season fully now.
You were traveling quite a bit.
Yeah.
I wasn't tracking you necessarily. But I thought about it.
Bugged my phone.
So, no. Okay. Well, hear me out. I thought about it super late in the week last week that you weren't going to the game in Bloomington on Friday night.
Yeah.
Thought that's the closest opportunity you're going to get to see Illinois play without having to drive all the way to Champaign.
Yep.
Like in my mind, I thought you'll surely go to that game. But then I remember seeing on Instagram or something that you were in Champaign, which I assume was for work or something related, not that important, and then you were in St. Louis. So you did not even go near Bloomington, Indiana. You just kind of bypassed it and went back to Champaign.
Yeah, the plan was to go to this game. This was the one game closest. It's an hour and 45, maybe 2 hours away from Louisville. That was the plan. And then a couple of months ago, we had a staff retreat in Champaign where we all got together and did some team working and some office camaraderie type of things on Friday. So I had to go back to Champaign, and then we had a family thing we were supposed to do 3 or 4 weeks ago. They got postponed to this week. So I just left from Champaign to go back home. And then I figured since I was home and the family thing was in St. Louis on Sunday, I was like, I'll just see if I can go to the Cubs Cards game on Saturday, which I did. And then we had the family thing Sunday, and then a pretty busy weekend, a lot of traveling and plans and stuff.
And would you like to talk about the Cubs Cards game that you were at?
Yeah, it was going to be in a segment. If you want to transition to a segment.
I'm sorry. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and transition. As you said, this will be a nice segue into our what caught your eye, which I would imagine is probably something to do with where you were over the past few days. What did catch your eye this week? Was it something baseball related? Was it your boy Albert?
I actually have 3 written. I have 3 written down, but I'm going to go with this one.
So.
And we can talk more specifics about baseball later in the show, but just being back at Busch Stadium, I hadn't been to a Cardinals game at Busch since pre-pandemic. 2018 or 19 we figured was the last time I'd been. So it was just nice and awesome to be back in Busch Stadium. It's not like you've been to Busch, right?
I have several times.
It's not like the game day experience isn't great. Like Wrigley's better. You just went to Fenway.
Correct.
I'm sure Fenway's much better, but it's just a nice place to watch a game.
Ballpark Village is cool.
Ballpark
Village is very cool.
And they only bring the Clydesdales out for the big games, like playoff games and the home opener and all that, but they show video of it and they play the song that goes along with it. So just a bunch of nostalgic and nice to be back there. And of course, watching Albert one last time in Cardinals uniform with Waino. Yachty was pitching, or Waino was pitching Saturday. Yachty was catching. I was with my dad, and I assume he's listening to this. His dad passed away February of last year. He was a big Cardinals fan, so it was nice just to have me and dad at a game together. Shout out Kyle Casty for some good seats. And yeah, it was just fun to be back. Albert, his first at bat, every at bat he came up, everyone had their phones out, of course, me included. His first at bat, I think Hap was playing left. Hap caught the fly ball with his back against the wall. I was like, oh, come on. Like, that's as close as we're going to get. He's not going to hit one tonight. But yes, the moment that stuck out over the weekend was Sunday when he hit the bottom of the 8th two-run game winner off of, I don't know who came in. I forgot his name. Gibson or I don't know. But yeah, just the experience Saturday, getting back to Busch Stadium and getting to see Albert one last time, although he did get a hit, but no home run.
Is that the first time you'd been back since
2019
pandemic? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly the run Albert has been on is incredible. I mean, I'm completely over the Cubs season, so like I didn't even care. It's just kind of cool that he's doing it. He might actually get there. He might get to 700. He's gonna have to see a few more left-handed pitching. And unfortunately, I'm not sure those postseason numbers are going to count for him. But
that's what I was going to say. That's what I was just going to ask. Do postseason home runs count as total?
I don't think so. No.
Huh.
I don't know. It's kind of like one of those things that people don't talk about. But I don't think postseason stats count. But I could be wrong on that. But I'm pretty sure they don't. Yeah, that's pretty cool. A couple things for me. One really quick thing. We don't talk about this sport much, but shout out Serena Williams. She's the GOAT.
Yeah, that was going to be on my list.
She's the greatest to ever do it. And not only the greatest female tennis player, but I would say probably the greatest female athlete ever. And certainly one of the greatest athletes ever. So female aside, she's just the GOAT. I don't know if you've seen King Richard. Not that that's, I mean, it's obviously about her life, but it's a good movie. You should watch it. It stirs up some controversy at the Oscars. But the other thing, though, something that we probably won't touch on too much later in the show, so I'll bring it up now, just because we don't have a lot of details about it. But they finally came to an agreement that we are going to get a 12-team playoff for the college football playoff.
That was on my list, but I figured we'd talk about it.
There's just not a lot of details. So
right.
It's several years down the road. We'll see if they're able to speed it up. It's not going to happen anytime in the next year or two. So we don't need to dwell on it too much, but that is probably the biggest thing for me of the week. Just, you know how I love realignment and changing things. And there's still a lot of things need to be established before they're ready to fully commit to everything. But it does look like we are eventually going to get that 12-team playoff like we've talked about.
Albert Pujols has 19 postseason career home runs.
Do they count to his?
They do not count to his total.
Exactly.
He has played in 2 playoffs since the Cardinals won the World Series in 2011. Once with the Angels and last year with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
that's
a good one. Okay, we'll move on. What do you think? I had 2 ideas to go with.
Okay.
One of them is sports related. One of them is non-sports related. And the non-sports related one is pretty timely right now. Okay. But if people don't vote tomorrow, they probably won't care about it by the time we get to next week. So what do you think I should go with? Do you want to go with sports or do you want to go with non-sports?
I would say the one that we'll be able to vote on after tomorrow.
Okay. All right, we'll do it now because this season's coming down to an end. American League MVP, Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge? Simple. I think there's a lot of people that are going one way or the other. Ohtani for what he's doing on both sides of the ball. Aaron Judge for what he's doing elsewhere.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. That's going to be this week's What Caught Your Eye. Or no, what do you think? Yeah, pretty simple. Who's going to win the AL MVP? Who should win the AL MVP? We'll ask that.
Yeah, that's a different question.
Yeah, we'll ask who should win the AL MVP.
Man, that's tough. I don't know. Judge hit another today.
Judge is chasing
a home run in 4 straight games.
Judge is chasing numbers we haven't seen since the pre-steroid era. Shohei Ohtani is putting up incredible numbers on both sides of the baseball. So last week's question was pertaining to you and your trip to St. Louis. I guess we kind of brushed over that part. Let's talk about the jersey thing. We asked the question last week, what jersey should you get since you were going to St. Louis and you were looking for a Albert Pujols jersey? We asked if you should get a white one, a gray one, the cream colored, or the blue. I don't remember what the final tally was.
Powder blue one.
Powder blue was the winner.
50%.
Yeah.
Which that was my plan.
Yeah, I figured it was. How'd it go?
Problem is, they don't produce them. They don't mass produce Albert Pujols jerseys. You have to get them customized, I have learned. So Saturday before the game, we left extra early because I wanted to stop at the mall because I figured it might be cheaper at the mall and across the river than at the stadium. Walk into the store, see a ton of white jerseys, Flaherty, Arenado, Goldschmidt, Yachty, couple blue ones, Arenado and Yachty, no Pujols. Not a white, not a gray, not a cream, not a blue, nothing. So I'm like, all right, next store. Across the street, went to Dick's. They had even more. They had a Carlson. They had a Edmund. They had everyone. No blue, no Pujols. Like, what the hell? So finally, I was like, we'll just go to the stadium. The team store has to have one. They have to have one at the stadium. So we get to the stadium an hour before first pitch. And if you know Busch Stadium, the big team store is down the third base line, kind of shades to home plate a little bit, just inside the Stan Musial statue. The line to get into the team store before the game wrapped out all the way to the outfield. F this. Jeez. So didn't get a jersey there. My family thing was in Edwardsville on Sunday. You have to go right by the St. Clair Mall to go north to Edwardsville. So I drove separate. I left a little bit early. I'm just going to get a customized one at the mall. Walk in, ask how long it would take. He's like, oh, it's like 10 minutes to customize jersey. I was like, oh, perfect. How much more is a customized than a regular? He's like, well, it depends on the jersey and if you want your name, like the letters in your name or the player. I was like, oh, I want Pujols. He's like, yeah, I can't do that. I just kind of tilt my head. Huh? He goes, we don't have any S's or the number 5. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, are you freaking kidding me? So I don't have a jersey, but my consolation, I did get a gray jersey.
Okay.
But no actual jersey.
I didn't think it was going to be more frustrating of a situation than your Io DeSumo jersey chase.
Oh, it's still not.
But this might be close.
Yeah, it was a trip, but I got a Pujols jersey out of it. No
I'm
jersey.
glad you got something out of it. That I did not. I would not have guessed any of that. I figured.
I even tweeted it. I quoted our question, and I tweeted. I was like, "This search is becoming more of a troublesome than I figured." So yeah. There's that.
Well, sorry about that. Sorry that you ran into some problems. Do you think you'll still try to get an Albert Pujols jersey, or is it
only if it's done? Only if I can find a blue one. I mean, I kind of wanted it to wear to the game. Like, I wore my Arenado jersey to the game, but I was going to take that off and put the Pujols ones on. But I still might just as like not a reminder, but like a memento of this season and him coming back. And my dad made a point. You can still get a Ozzie Smith jersey right now. So I'm sure in a couple years or in the future, you'll be able to get a Pujols jersey. So I'll get one eventually, but this weekend was not in the cards. Yeah. No pun intended.
That's funny. I still only own one Major League Baseball jersey. Well, I guess technically I own 2. Neither of them play for the team that's on the jersey. So, you also run into that. At least
Rizzo and Schwarber.
Baez and Schwarber.
Ooh, okay.
I have the Baez Little League Classic jersey.
Oh yeah.
Played that game.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, let's move on. Illinois football. Friday night.
Logan sent me like a text checking in on me, I think was the intent of the text. Like, are you okay?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember, but I was like, he's checking in on me. I know.
Well, you texted me right after Luke Ford caught a pass. And I was about to text you. Oh yeah, that's right. He fumbled. And I was about to text you and you beat me to it. But yeah, Friday night, Illinois went to Bloomington, the game that Craig probably glad he didn't go to now, and lost what you could only really describe as a heartbreaker. It wasn't pretty. It was not a pretty game of football. But they had all the chances. They had all the chances in the world. But they fall to the Hoosiers 23-20. 3-point loss. There was a touchdown that didn't get that got called back early on in the game that would have been the difference. I thought about that from the moment it happened. I was watching this game and I said to Allison, I said, that's going to be the difference if this gets down to it. And it was, because they did get the field goal on that drive, but they did not get the extra 4 points for the touchdown. So yeah, that would have been the difference, but you can't blame everything on that one call. Illinois had their chances and they blew it. So Illinois falls to 1-1 on the season, 0-1 to start conference play. So not really where you want to be, especially against the team that you thought you could have beat, and quite frankly, probably should have beat. But that's how the cookie crumbles. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about this game because, as I said, it was nearly a week ago that this game was played. But Chase Brown, another near 200 rushing yard game.
He won me some money. Did you see my bet on that?
I don't know. Maybe. What was it?
His rushing yard prop was 85.5 yards.
Oh my God. Really?
He hit that halfway through the second quarter.
Yeah. I saw they said that he's like the second or
first Illini.
First Illini to do
150 yards.
Two consecutive games to start the season. Yeah. Pretty incredible. I mean, he was
named Doak Walker running back of the week just today.
All right.
First time they're doing the Doak Walker running back of the week.
I didn't even realize that was
is the national. Doak Walker is the national running back award. Now they're doing a weekly award, and Chase Brown won it this week.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good for him. The problem I think they're going to run into is who is exactly going to be who's going to be his backup? Who's the number 2 running back on this team? I think there's a situation right now. Josh McCray is hurt, and what happens after that? Who knows? So there's a lot of question marks there, but either way, he still had a nice game, almost 200 yards on the ground. Tommy DeVito was okay for a little while and then didn't really look like he was fully there. Threw for a couple touchdowns, threw an interception, threw for 232 yards. Isaiah Williams had a touchdown catch for 112 yards. Good game from him. The defense was the best part. I mean, the defense was the heart and soul of that game. They still gave up 23 points, so it's hard to really say that they were the strength, but they kept them in it. The offense just couldn't do much.
Yeah, initially after the game, I was, as you can imagine, very upset. I said, I was like, Indiana, they're just not good. They're not a good football team. No. And Illinois just couldn't capitalize. What's the word that we've been using? Competent. They lost a little bit of that on Friday night, I think. Yeah. They did not look competent, especially offensively. But after I woke up Saturday, I went downstairs and Dad was watching the Big 10 and 60 or whatever. Like they condensed the game and re-air it. And he was watching it, and I went down, and it was about halfway through the fourth quarter when everything started going downhill. But I was just kind of like, I really don't feel that bad. The defense Illinois played good for 55 minutes. They played good for 55 of the 60 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, you win that game 80% of the time, 90% of the time. They just had a couple calls not go their way. They had a couple passes that should have been caught that were dropped. And then the defense just got shredded on that last drive where that's a completely different situation. Like, that's a tough situation when the offense is moving quick and they're completing stuff quick and they're finding the holes in the zones. It's tough to get out of that rhythm. So I really don't feel as bad. In my group chat with the guys, I said I'd lost faith. I don't necessarily think it's that. I just think that every year, I think a lot of people would agree with me. We go in thinking, okay, maybe this is the year that things are better. and we move in the right direction, which I think Illinois is moving in the right direction. But then there's that one game, and it was the same last year. Win week 1 against Nebraska, and then you lose to UTSA. This year, win week 1 convincingly against Wyoming. Things look great. And then you lose to Iowa, and we're back to square one, where everyone's like, all right, Illinois football, another 4-8, 5-7 season. Maybe we'll make a ball in a couple of years. That's kind of where I'm at. I thought maybe this team could break through 6-6. I said in our preview, the ceiling is 8-4. That's not happening. But I wouldn't say I've lost faith, but I'm not feeling as good as I was preseason or even after week 1.
No, I'm with you. I don't think that game is not going to make or break your season. But as I've already said, that was a game you really should have won. Indiana's not very good. In fact, they were awful last year. I think they'll be a little better than they were this year, but they already have a conference win under their belt, so they're already a step ahead. It's just a game you needed to get. Even though it was a road game, it's a game you should have had, and you didn't. So now you're going to be starting back at the bottom again for the Big Ten season. They're not hitting that ceiling we had talked about. I mean, I think 5 wins is still on the table. I'd like to see if they can get to 6, but I think in everybody's 6, if everybody's predicting 6 wins, I'm pretty sure that was one of them. And that did not happen. So they then now move on to their week 2 matchup is going to be a home one this Saturday against Virginia, a Virginia team that beat Richmond last week, 34-17. Illinois is the favorite in this game, surprisingly enough. I guess being at home is enough to give you that difference, but they are a 4.5 point favorite against Virginia. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and predict Illinois doesn't win this game. I think they certainly can, and they might. They very well might, and they probably should. But you don't have a lot of faith after what we just watched. Knowing not that Virginia's cream of the crop by any means, and they're going to be a bottom half of the ACC team, but I don't have a ton of confidence.
Do you remember what Virginia did to Illinois last year?
I've tried to block all that out of my memory.
42-14.
Yeah.
And the quarterback that threw for 405 yards and 5 touchdowns, he's back. He's still there. Albeit, it is a new coaching staff. Bronco Mendenhall left or got fired or whatever, and Clemson's old offensive coordinator, Tony Elliott, is now the head coach at Virginia. But that quarterback also threw for 300 and ran for 100 last week against Richmond. So I'm going to say it kind of starts with him. I'm just going to throw a wild hot take guess out there that you kind of need to stop him if you want to win the game. But we'll see. I don't know that I'm keen on that line. I think it's kind of a pick'em game, but not too confident. I'll just say that, not too confident. I thought 6 days ago, I thought a 4-0 start was likely, very possible, and now it's looking like it could be a 2-2 start, at least a 1-2 start. So we shall see.
Yeah, well, you got to hope for the best. So, Saturday against Virginia. That game is, I see listed as a 4:00 start Eastern time. You have put down a 3:00 start Eastern time.
I might have wrote that down when I was home in Pinckneyville, so that could
it
be
is
wrong.
4:00 Eastern time, 3:00 Central time, 3:00 in Champaign on Saturday. Illinois, Virginia. As we said, Illinois is 4.5 point favorite. We'll see how that holds. And we will talk about that after the fact next week. Hopefully it won't be on Wednesday when we're talking about that game. But, either way, we'll recap it then. Let's go through the rest of the Big Ten scores from last weekend. Penn State beat Purdue on Saturday.
Thursday.
Oh, that was the Thursday game, wasn't it? I forgot about that. Yeah. These games are all running together.
Jeff Brom threw the ball 13 of the last 14 plays when he was up by 4 or whatever, trying to milk the clock.
Yeah, that was ugly. Let Let me just pull up all the scores here, just so I have them in front of me.
I just wrote down the big ones.
Yeah.
Everyone. All the
Penn
others
State
were
over Purdue,
bad games.
35-31. Minnesota beat New Mexico State 38-0. We already talked about Indiana, Illinois. Michigan State beat Western Michigan 35-13. Michigan over Colorado State 51-70. Wisconsin shut out Illinois State. Iowa in a what can only be described as a barn burner in Iowa.
Slobber knocker.
Yeah. Took down South Dakota State 7-3 without scoring a single touchdown. Field goal and 2 safeties for those keeping track at home was that one. Maryland won, Rutgers won. And then the big game on Saturday night was Ohio State over Notre Dame. I didn't really believe Notre Dame was going to win that game at any point, but they made it look good. They looked a lot better than I think a lot of people anticipated.
I didn't get to watch it because we were at the Cardinal game, but I told Dad the score, and we were both like,
yeah,
whoa.
It was a good game. It was a good game. Notre Dame kept with them. They had the lead at halftime, up 10-7, I believe. Ohio State just got the better of them, scored a couple touchdowns in the second half. But, I mean, Marcus Freeman's group looked good. And I think a lot of people were a little hesitant about that. But they look pretty solid. They did end up dropping a few spots in the rankings. That's up for debate whether or not that was deserved. But Ohio State did win that game 21-10. So those were the big games from the Big Ten this week. Not a lot of excitement.
Nope.
Arkansas really? Is at Ohio State. Minnesota hosts Western Illinois. Northwestern.
Arkansas State is at Ohio State.
What did I not say? State.
No.
Ohio State hosts Arkansas
State. Yes.
Not the Razorbacks.
Yes.
Minnesota hosts Western Michigan. Duke goes to Northwestern. Ohio at Penn State. Washington State at Wisconsin is at least a matchup of Power 5 schools. Maryland goes to Charlotte. Akron at Michigan State. Iowa State and Iowa is a fairly big game, although we'll have to see what Iowa team shows up. Indiana State travels to Purdue. Wagner at Rutgers. Georgia Southern at Nebraska. Hawaii at Michigan. Idaho at Indiana, and then Virginia at Illinois. Real quick, let's talk about our power rankings. I did this the other day, so I'm excited that I actually prepared for this because I don't know that I prepared for the next part of our show. All right, let's start with you. 14 through. Give me the bottom 3. What's your bottom 3?
You'll never guess who I have at 14.
Is it Illinois?
No.
Okay. Nebraska?
No.
Oh, who is it?
This team dropped 11 spots. Iowa, number 14.
Oh my God.
You scored 7 points.
Stop it.
7 points against an FCS school.
Okay.
You're 14. Iowa is 14. Indiana 13, Northwestern 12.
Oh my God. Okay.
I mean, how can you defend it?
I can't defend it, and I'll admit I have them way too high now that I'm looking at it, but okay, dropping them all the way to 14.
14. I was going to put Purdue there just because of Jeff Brom, but Iowa.
What was
14.
the rest of you? What else did you say?
Indiana 13, Northwestern 12.
So even though Indiana beat Illinois, you still have them at 13.
Yeah, Indiana had one good drive the whole game.
Interesting. You know, I almost wanted to get rid of this segment just because, like, I just think it's kind of confusing. But, like, the fact that we're, like, on so opposite page kind of makes it intriguing. I'm going with Nebraska at the bottom. Rutgers 13, wow. And I put Illinois 12.
Wow.
We're literally a week and a half into the season. I am not putting this is going to change so much every single week. So, like, don't take anything we say for anything, but, like, whatever. You put Iowa at 14. Okay. You put Iowa.
Yeah, score more than 7. You don't even score a touchdown against an FCS team.
Okay. All right. I have Nebraska, Rutgers, Illinois as my 14 through 12. How about your 11 through 9?
Illinois 11 down 1, Nebraska 10 up 2, and Rutgers. They got a big win. That's a big win at Boston College last week.
Yeah, that's true.
They're
I should have had them
9.
higher. You're right.
They're 9 up 2.
Yep. I should have had them a little higher. I have Indiana 11. I have Northwestern 9, and I have Maryland. Or I had Northwestern 10, and I have Maryland 9.
Okay.
All right, 8 through 6.
Maryland up 1, Michigan State up 1 to 7, and Minnesota stays at 6.
Okay. I have Purdue 8, Michigan State 7. Both of those stayed put. And I have Wisconsin down 1 at 6. 5 through 3. Who you got?
Purdue stayed the same. I kept them in the 5. They played well. I think Jeff Brom probably learned his lesson. They should be 1-0, but they are 0-1. They should have won that game. Just run the freaking ball and you win that game. But they are still at 5. I moved Penn State ahead of them, up 3, because they, of course, did beat Purdue, and then Wisconsin up 1 to number 3.
Our lists are so jumbled right now. I'm having a hard time keeping track of who's where. I have Minnesota 5. I kept Iowa in the top 5. I know, I get it. They didn't score a touchdown against an FCS team. I understand. I still have Iowa at 4, and I moved Penn State up to 3. I think that was far and away the most impressive, other than Ohio State over Notre Dame. That was the best win on the schedule. So I have Penn State at 3, and then I assume your 2 and 1 are the same.
Yep.
Michigan at 2, Ohio State at 1. All right, those
Yep.
are our power rankings. All right, we're gonna go on to pick your pick. This will be our 3rd week trying this, and so far so good, I think. Last week I went 3 and 2, and Craig went 2 and 3. So we haven't done well,
right?
But I think it's going well, if that makes sense. That puts me at 3 and 3 for the season, and Craig at 3 and 3 for the season. So far we're just as equally good as we are bad. All right, just a refresher for those that are new or those who forgot. We're going to go through and we're going to do this draft style. Craig's going to start. He's going to pick whichever game he wants, and then he's going to tell us who's winning said game. So just to give you an idea, these are the games we are picking this week: Virginia at Illinois, Alabama at Texas, South Carolina at Arkansas, Tennessee at Pittsburgh, Kentucky at Florida, Baylor at BYU, Duke at Northwestern, Iowa State at Iowa, Houston at Texas Tech, and USC at Stanford. Those are the games we are going to choose from. Craig is going to start. I am not prepared this week, I will tell you right now. So we're going to see how this goes. Craig, pick your pick. You get the first overall.
So I think there's one game that's going to be a blowout, but I also don't want to be on the wrong side of it if the upset happens, so I'm not going there. And there's another one that's a top 10 team conference game against an unranked team on the road. And I think the top 10 team is pretty damn good. I'm taking USC and Lincoln Riley at Stanford.
Not bad. That's not a bad pick. Okay. I'm going to keep notes of this because I don't have my other spreadsheet ready to go because I'm unprepared for today's show. All right. Craig's going to take USC over Stanford. I think he was trying to indicate that I should take a particular game, and I'm not sold on it, but I feel like I almost have to do it anyway. Just because if it doesn't happen, then whoa, Nelly. But is there another obvious pick here that I'm missing? Baby, these are rough. I'm going to take with my 2nd overall pick. This is a tremendous content. I'm going to take Arkansas over South Carolina.
Okay.
That's probably not what you thought I was going to do.
No.
But I just the same thing you feel about this. The pick that you're going to make right now, I don't know. But go ahead, you can have it. I'll let you have it.
I'm not going to take it here. I'm taking another one.
Okay,
that is a double-digit favorite at home against one of the worst Power 5 teams in football. I'm taking Northwestern to beat Duke.
Okay,
at Ryan
that's
Field.
smart. That's smart.
Start the year 2-0. with 2 wins over Power 5 teams for Patty Fitz.
I like that. That's a smart play. I should have gone that route. All right, I'm just gonna take it now. I'm gonna take Alabama. Texas
That's
is
the one I was talking about.
I know. Texas is decent, and I think they'll finish the season as a top 25 team. But Alabama is Alabama, and this will be Texas's prelude to their trip to the SEC. I think that Alabama wins this game. What's this spread on? What is this?
20.
20?
I just wrote them down. 20. Yep.
Yeah. I'm not sure they cover.
It is in Austin.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm taking Alabama regardless. So
right. Straight up, you got to take Alabama.
Yeah, straight up. That's all we're doing. We're not picking
against the spread.
Yeah,
I'm scared of any game that's more than 2 touchdowns. I don't know that I'll bet any game more than 2 touchdowns. Speaking of, I do really good betting this week.
I'm happy for you. Happy for you. All right. 2 picks each off the board. Craig, who are you taking third?
There's a team on here that I think is a sleeper in the SEC. I don't know what division they're in. I guess I should look that up, because if they're in Alabama's division, well, Georgia looked great this week too. So it's going to be Alabama, Georgia. But there's a team in the SEC that I really like. I really like their offense, but can they stop anybody? They are in the SEC East. So Georgia stumbles. I think Tennessee could get them. Tennessee puts up a lot of points. I don't think Pitt is that good. They snuck out a win against West Virginia last week. West Virginia probably should have won that game. It was kind of a toss-up. I'm taking Tennessee on the road at Pitt to beat the Panthers.
Yeah, it's probably safe. Probably a safe pick. I like that. I like that a lot. All right. What do I want to do here? I'm going to take
I love this.
I'm going to take
this.
An upset. Well, it's an upset in terms of their national rankings. I'm not sure if it's an upset.
I know
in terms
where you're
of the
going.
Spread. I'm going to take BYU.
Yep.
I'm going to take BYU. They're at home. They host Baylor. They're both good programs. They're both good teams this year. As we've already talked about, I think there are 3 teams at the top, in the top tier, and then there's a bunch of other teams. I think both of these teams are in those next 2 to 3 tiers.
Yep.
But I'll take BYU over Baylor as my third pick.
Yep. That was my last pick. Like, I did not want to pick that game, but I would have been with you. I would have been on the Baylor side of that pick.
The BYU side or the Baylor side?
BYU side of that pick. So with this, I'm going to get 4 of my top 5 games that I wanted. I went against this team last week at home, and they won. Although I did put money on them in a parlay that I won big, and they won. I think Florida is legit. I think is his name Anthony Robinson? I think his name's Anthony Robinson. Heisman candidate, looked fantastic. I'm taking Florida to beat Kentucky. Anytime Kentucky loses, it's a good weekend. This weekend, Florida Gators over Wildcats.
Okay. Probably smart. Notice I don't remember exactly what my order was last week, but there was one team that I picked particularly high, and I am very much avoiding them this time. It's like I have zero confidence in that team. So I'm going to go a completely different route, and I'm going to go with a team that only scored 7 points and didn't put up a touchdown against North Dakota State. I'm going to take the Hawkeyes at home against Iowa State. I mean, they're a better team than that. I can't really explain what happened on Saturday. I didn't watch any of that game, but I think they're a better team than that, and I think they'll beat Iowa State. So I'm going to take Iowa over Iowa State. So that leaves
Iowa State. I'm down on it. I'm
off
Iowa.
Your 14th best team in Big Ten. Which I mean, okay, I guess it could have been. I mean, it could be an Indiana season all over again. But all right, we got 3 games left, right?
Yeah, what do we have left? Houston and Texas Tech.
Just 2
and
left.
Virginia, Illinois.
Yep. Just 2 games left.
Okay. Yeah, I'm avoiding that team too. I'm gonna stick you with Illinois.
Okay. Great.
But I don't know which way I want to go. Houston's an underdog. Houston's ranked at 25, underdog on the road at Texas Tech. Oh, I won with them last week. I'll take them again. Give me Houston. They're ranked 3-point underdog, but I don't want to pick off favorites. So give me Houston to beat Texas Tech in Lubbock.
Okay. That will stick me with the Illini, who, as I mentioned, I was very high on last week in beating Indiana, and now I wanted nothing to do with them. But I could take Virginia here, which
bet.
might be the smarter play. But I'm going to be
Homer
optimistic.
Okay.
This might be one of the last
That's a better
times
word
I
for
pick,
Homer.
it might be one of the last times I pick Illinois. But I will take Illinois to beat Virginia. I don't think it will be by much. But I will pick the Illini. So, all right, we'll just recap here real quick. Logan has Illinois over Virginia, Alabama over Texas, Arkansas over South Carolina, BYU over Baylor, and Iowa over Iowa State. Craig took Tennessee over Pittsburgh, Florida over Kentucky, Northwestern over Duke, Houston over Texas Tech, and USC over Stanford. We will see how we fare when we review these.
5-0, baby.
5-0, he says. Okay. Easy there, killer. All right. Illinois men's basketball stuff. The schedule for the on
Do
the
we want
men's
to talk
side.
12-team playoff quickly?
We can. I don't think there's much to talk about. I mean, I think they
just that they agreed to it.
They agreed to it. The conferences got together and agreed to the fact that we're going to have a 12-team playoff sometime. I think there's a few factors at play here. It sounds like a couple of years is what they're shooting for.
I think that's the biggest question of all of this is when it's going to take effect.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of questions. But yeah, that's obviously the biggest is when this is going to happen. There's several things in play here. There's how it's going to work into the calendar, how it's going to work into the schedule, what are the TV rights going to look like. Currently, ESPN has the rights to all of it. So if they don't fork that over and these things start before that contract is up with ESPN, then ESPN is going to carry every single game, which is not going to make Fox and the Big Ten and anybody else happy. But that's a factor. There's a lot of factors that go into this, but just the fact that we're getting it is enough for a lot of people to celebrate. I think we obviously were happy when we got 4 teams because we thought, they need to have more than just 2 teams playing for a national title. 4 was the logical first step. I like 12. I've liked 12 for a long time. And while I still don't think it's perfect and nothing will be perfect, it will never be a perfect model. I think for the direction we're trending as college football as a whole, I think it makes sense. I think 12 teams makes the most sense. The thing that I am the most curious about, honestly, is locations. I know that there's a big, I think they're kind of leaning towards the first round games will be played on campuses.
That's what the release said.
Which I like that idea. I love that idea. But my issue is the second round games. I think those should also be on campuses. And the reason I say that is because you're punishing your top 4 seeds by not giving them a home game. I mean, you're punishing the Ohio States, the Georgias, the Alabamas of the world that are, consistently going to be your top 4 seeds to get the buys. The buy is great. Obviously, they'll probably take the buy over the home game. But I understand the neutral site thing. I know they want to get the bowls involved. Like, I know there's a lot of factors that go into this, but like, if I'm looking at it, I don't think that's a huge advantage for those schools. Yes, as I said, they get the buy. The buy should be more than enough, but for a lot of reasons, home field advantage wise, financially, I think it's a disadvantage.
Yeah, that's a thought. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, that's a thought. I mean, I think it's nearly identical to what I have been pushing for. Like, I'm in talks here, but I said from from the get-go. 12 teams. The conference winners are the top 5 seeds. And then if there's a group of 5 that's worthy, give them the 6. And the top 4 of those I think conference winners should be the top 5. I don't think it should be Alabama 1, Ohio State 2, and then Georgia 3 because Alabama beat Georgia and SEC and they were 1-2. I think the top 5 seeds should be from a different conference. Get every conference in there. That's what they're worried about. Get them in there and then go from there. So it's close to that. It's not exactly that, but the top 6 teams, I think, or conference champs or something, and a group of 5 are in. We're moving in the right direction. We'll just say that. Moving in the right direction. I like where it's headed. I don't know that it'll go any more than 12. I think they might stop at 12. I don't think they'll get to 16.
Probably, because I do think before they would even really get the chance to change to 16, I think the entire landscape of the sport's going to be different.
Yes.
I think right now we are still working in a Power 5 model, but I think that's going to be gone really by the time this even starts.
So there you go. Power 4.
I think you're probably looking at a Power 4.
Get a bye.
Yeah, I think you're probably looking at a Power 4. I think, as I said, I think there's a lot of factors that go into this because I don't know that it's necessarily set in stone that the Power 5 and the Group of 5 will even be playing the same thing. I mean, I think the Power 5 might eventually break off, and those 60 schools are just their own thing. They're their own version of an NFL type of situation where, they're going to play however many games. They're going to get so many games against their conference. They're going to get so many games against the other conference or whatever they do. It might be 3 leagues of 20, something like that. But I think that will change before we even get to the point where we're ready to say, okay, is 12 the right number? They're going to want to do that for several years. And by that point, I think the whole landscape will be different. So I'm happy for it. I'm glad that we're getting it. We're still, did they say a date when they're shooting for this? Is it 25?
26, I think.
Okay.
But so, could be as early as 24.
Yeah. If they can get all their ducks in a row and get everything figured out. As I said, there's a lot of hurdles to still get over and how it's going to work, but we are getting it. So that should be enough to celebrate. Illinois men's basketball. We will have the Big Ten conference schedule tomorrow, Thursday. So we'll talk about that next week. We already know who Illinois is playing in terms of their matchups. We just don't know when they're playing those games. So we've already talked about this, I think, earlier. But we'll just kind of go over it again. So we know already that they're going to play Michigan State, and Rutgers at home. We know they're going to play Iowa, Maryland, and Purdue on the road. And then they're going to get Indiana, Minnesota, Nebraska, Northwestern, Ohio State, Penn State, and Wisconsin as home and aways. So they'll play all of those teams twice. They'll play the other 6 teams just once.
We have not talked about this because it came out in June and we were not doing shows.
Okay. So we haven't talked about this. So that's going to be the men's basketball schedule. We'll actually know the exact schedule tomorrow. So we can talk about that a little bit in next week's show. Just looking at those matchups, do you think it's favorable? Not favorable? What do you thought?
Very favorable.
It is.
The bottom 4 teams of the Big Ten last year were Minnesota, Nebraska, Northwestern, and Penn State.
Yeah.
And Illinois has all of them twice. Michigan, Michigan State, Rutgers, Iowa, Maryland, Purdue were all top half of the Big Ten, and you only get them once. Yeah. The only tough, hard double ups, Indiana could win the Big Ten. That's a tough double up. And Ohio State, that's a tough double up. I don't even consider Wisconsin a tough double up. We did that. We thought the same last year, and they won the freaking conference, but I don't think they can replicate what they did last year. So really only 2 top tier double ups for Illinois. So very favorable. IMO.
Where are you at on the Indiana hype train? Are you on the train? Are you off the train?
Yeah, I think it's legit. I definitely think it's legit. I think they're going to be very good. I think they're going to be very, very good. Them and Illinois and, of course, Michigan and Michigan State, probably the top 4. I think Purdue's going to take a step back. Ohio State, yet to be seen. I haven't done a whole lot of basketball research with rosters and stuff, but I like what Indiana's done. I think they're going to be a tough Big Ten team this year.
I mean, I know that all the talk early on in the offseason was, can they hit a 3-pointer?
Yeah.
We'll just have to see how how everything shakes out for them. But either way, we will know more about the exact schedule on Thursday of this week. So we'll talk about that next week. But we at least wanted to bring it up in this week's show. I mentioned at the top that the NFL season is here, essentially. The regular season kicks off Thursday night. So it's here. Football season is fully here. We have had a week and a half. I call it a week and a half. It's been, I guess, technically 2 weeks of college football under our belts already. And now we're here for the NFL. You want to do some predictions for the NFL?
Couple, yeah.
What do you got? Let's hear it. I want to hear what you got before I get too much into it, because I think that my answers are going to be pretty chalk. So you probably have a hot take in there somewhere.
I do. My Super Bowl is a hot take.
All right.
And I have another hot take I can throw out for the AFC. But we'll start NFC. I got the Eagles winning the East, Bucks in the South, Vikings in the North, and Rams in the West.
Say that again.
Division winners.
Say that again.
Eagles in the East.
Yep.
Buccaneers in the South, Vikings in the North, and Rams in the West.
Vikings and really? Okay. Eagles, Vikings, Bucks, and Rams. Is that what you just said?
Yep.
Okay. All right. AFC?
Division winners: Bills, Colts, don't love it, but Bengals and Broncos in the West.
Broncos. Okay. You're really on the Russell Wilson trade.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I like that. Who do you want to give your wild card teams, or you just want to go straight to?
Yeah, let's get all playoff teams out there. I got 49ers, Packers, and Cowboys also getting into the playoffs in the East. I don't like the Cowboys pick. I don't know that they're a playoff team, but I didn't like anyone else in the NFC. I think by default they're gonna go
the correct
9-8 and get a playoff spot. And then in the AFC, Ravens, Chargers, and the Mitchell Trubisky led Steelers sneaking in.
Ravens, Chargers, Steelers. Okay.
So 3 teams from the AFC North.
Interesting. I don't hate that. I got a couple qualms, but that's fine. All right. Do you want me to give mine, or do you want to just go straight to your?
I mean, if you don't have any.
I'm kind of winging it.
Okay.
But it's going to be a lot of chalk, I think.
That's the safe pick.
Yeah. I'll start the NFC. I like the Eagles too. I do think the Cowboys are a playoff team by default, as you said, but I think the Eagles are probably the better team there. I'll take the Packers. That's the safe pick. I'm not sure what you think the Vikings are going to do to put them on top of the Packers, but whatever. The Bucks, that's obvious in the South. I like the Rams too. I know that. I think that's who you picked as well.
They might be better than last year, and they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, they're clearly the better team out there. And I think the NFC playoffs are pretty much already set. I think it'll be the Cowboys, the Vikings, and the 49ers are the other 3 teams.
So yeah, we have the same 7.
I don't think there's another option. The Cardinals, maybe. Are they enough? I mean, I guess there could always be a surprise, but I just don't know who that is.
They've had some turmoil this offseason, so we'll see how they respond for it.
I mean, I don't know who the surprise team would be. So
I could see the Lions. I could really see the Lions. Yeah.
Okay. That'd
pushing
be fun.
for about 500 record. I don't think the Giants. I don't think the Commanders. Saints could do it. If Jameis is competent, that's our word of the show lately. If Jameis is competent, those are about the only 2, Saints and Lions, I think. All right. Sneak in.
All right. My AFC picks in the East, I'm going to take the Bills. In the North, I'm going to stick with the Ravens. I don't hate the Bengals, though, but I'm going to stick with the Ravens. The Colts, I think, are, well, that division's bad. I'll take the Colts, and I'm going to take the Chargers to win the West.
Yep.
My playoff teams being the Chiefs, for sure. This is a little trickier. I will go with I'll go with the Broncos as a playoff team. I'll give 3 teams from the West. And then I think I'll go with the Bengals. It's a lot trickier in the AFC to predict.
Yeah.
I mean, the NFC, there's 7 teams that are really in the mix, and there's really nobody else.
Yep.
There's a few others here that I think could make make it. So, all right.
Did you want me to run over them again? Is that what you were gonna do?
No.
Did you notice I didn't say a certain team?
Hang on. Let me think about this. Who did you not say? Did you not say the Chiefs? Really? You're totally out on the Chiefs.
I think this is the year Chiefs missed the playoffs. They lost a lot. They
Really?
They traded away Tyreek. Sammy Watkins is gone.
Okay, that's fair.
I just think they got worse and other teams got better in their division.
Okay, that's fair. That makes sense.
That's the, I guess, semi-hot take that I was alluding to earlier.
I mean, yeah, I get that. I get that. All right, we don't need to go over them again. Let's hear your Super Bowl pick.
Let's ride. Broncos over the Eagles.
Wow.
Broncos beat the Eagles.
Interesting.
Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Javonte Williams. Russ's weapons are much better. Russ is still Russ, and I think their defense is pretty legit. So give me the Broncos with new ownership to win the Super Bowl first year.
Okay.
I really like the Eagles too. I think the Eagles might be the best team in the NFC.
Okay. I'm going to take the Bills over the Bucks.
Okay. I was hoping you didn't say Rams because everyone is picking Bills over Rams.
No, we did that. I mean, I think we did. I'm pretty sure we picked the Rams last year. Yeah, I'll go Bills over Bucks. That just sounds more fun. Wouldn't mind seeing.
I like it.
In the Super Bowl. So, all right. NFL season underway Thursday. Who is the Thursday night game?
It's Bills versus Rams.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep, that's a big one. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Major League Baseball. We've already kind of touched on some of it. We've already talked about the Albert Pujols thing. We've already talked about the MVP race. The Cubs are non-existent. Is there anything else major storyline that we haven't talked about for Major League Baseball? That
I don't think so. I mean, playoffs are pretty much set. We talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Like the Brewers are falling so hard. No one's going to catch the wild card teams in the NL. The NL wild card or NL playoff teams are going to be set here in the next 7 to 10 days. I keep talking football. AL, there's a little. I mean, even the Orioles are falling. They're 3.5 or 4 games back now in the wild card. So it's going to be an early. My question, and one of my buddies tweeted this at one of the Cardinals beat reporters. Can the Cardinals catch the NL East and get the second bye?
How many games back are they?
They're like 4 games back.
They could, and they're playing well.
So are the Braves.
Yeah.
Since June 1st, the Braves are on a 117 game, 117 win expectancy. Like if they played the full year like they played since June, they would win 117 games.
My prediction would be no.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No. I mean, it's certainly possible, but
I thought of something I can ask you, but go ahead.
No, I think the answer is no. I think they could, but I don't think they will. Go on.
Just so you can contribute here, we can talk a little bit of Cubs. Did you see the report that the Cardinals are going to be major players for Wilson Contreras in the offseason?
And that's going to do it for us. No one asked us. He's Craig Choate. I'm Logan Lee. We're going to wrap it up here. Yeah, I saw it. Of course I saw it. It made me throw my computer against the wall. Trading one almost Hall of Famer for another almost Hall of Famer.
I wasn't expecting that reaction. I thought we'd have like a conversation about it.
I mean, what do you want me to say? Like that would just be awful for Cubs fans. Everybody would hate that. And I don't know what's going to happen with Wilson Contreras. I don't know what's happening with the Cubs front office. I don't know anything. I would love to see the Cubs find a way to extend Wilson Contreras. I know what's going to happen is they're going to throw him a qualifying offer. He's probably going to turn it down, and then he's going to sign with somebody like the Cardinals. I hope that doesn't happen. I think what's happening here is, and I'll tell you, Cardinals fans will probably learn to appreciate Wilson Contreras, but he is like the exact opposite of Yadi Molina.
Yes.
And that Cardinals fans, yourself included, are praising their Hall of Fame catcher, who is Hall of Famer by defensive merits only. Wilson Contreras is not a defensive minded catcher. He is a catcher by trade, and I think long term his future in baseball is probably at a different position /DH. So if that were to happen, I would be very sad. I and every other Cub fan to watch him play in a Cardinal uniform, especially. It's been hard to watch these other players play in other uniforms in general, but to see any of them in a Cardinal uniform would be tough. But yeah, that would be my biggest thing. Is I know that Cardinal, it's different. He's going to be very different. Yadi is the greatest defensive catcher of all time. And that is not Wilson Contreras, but you're not going to find a replacement for Yadi that is Yadi. I mean, you're just not. So
no. And the Cardinals' depth in the minors at catcher is not great. Yeah. They've tried a couple of them and they're not doing well.
No, they're gonna have to go after somebody. The Cubs don't exactly have a lot of depth there either. I mean, Miguel Amaya is there. I don't know that he's much of a factor long term. I think they would like to give him a shot and see, but I would love to see the Cubs find a way to extend Wilson for a few more years. Let him continue to play in a Cubs uniform. Let him be a part-time catcher, part-time DH, maybe part-time first baseman, something along those lines. I think that is his future, more than an everyday catcher, because those that have watched the Cubs every day and followed the Cubs every day know that a lot of the reason why Wilson Contreras is having the offensive season that he is, and that he hasn't had to catch every day. Jan Gomes is, he's a quality major league catcher. And they've also brought up PJ Higgins, who's done fine as the third catcher. So if you're going to bring in Wilson Contreras to be your 1A catcher and you don't really have a great 1B, I can't guarantee that you're going to get the same offensive output from him. So you need to be in a situation wherever he goes, whether that's the Cubs or the Cardinals or somebody else, you need to be in a position where you don't have like a full-time DH, that you can give him a lot of those at bats, because that's where he's going to succeed, when he doesn't have to be behind the plate every single game.
Yep.
So that's my take on it. I love the guy to death, and I hope that he stays in a Cubs uniform. And secondly, I hope that he doesn't go in a Cardinal uniform. So if it's neither of those things, okay, I guess it'll make me sad, but it's two polar opposites. All right, NBA, the big NBA bomb that dropped over the week, Donovan Mitchell to the Cavs in a blockbuster of a deal. Mitchell notably didn't end up going to the Knicks, and I thought their package was probably better than what the Cavs were throwing out there, but that's a pretty dangerous Cavs team now. I don't know that they're a finals contender necessarily, but Donovan Mitchell is going to be on a team with several guys around him that can play and can play defense, which I think is going to be crucial for them. So that went from being an already fun team to being like a legitimate, playoff contender for sure. Can they get over the hump? We'll have to see, but that was a big move. I don't think anybody saw that coming. Colby Altman pulling the strings with the Cavs, Saluki alum. Caught you off guard, I assume. Caught everybody off guard.
Yeah. Woj bomb, middle of the day, Thursday, I think. Opening day of college football, or not opening day, but yeah. I tweeted it. I don't know that it makes the Cavs that much better. I mean, they got rid of Lauri Markkanen, they got rid of Ochai Agbaji, and they got rid of Colin Sexton. Those are three I mean, two good NBA players we know for sure, and I think Ochai Agbaji would be pretty good. But I don't know. On paper, I feel like I like the Jazz side of it better, getting young players and some picks. But we'll see. Cleveland wants to win now, and Donovan Mitchell definitely can. I mean, it's crazy how many Donovan Mitchell jerseys I see down here. I mean, there's a Donovan Mitchell Jazz jersey everywhere I go. It's wild. This city loves him.
I agree with you in that I think I like the Jazz return better, but this puts the Cavs in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, for sure.
Personnel wise, they gave up a lot for him. And as I said, I don't think they're a championship contender, but I think they put themselves in a better spot. So, yeah, I'm for it. I think it makes a lot of sense. One thing we didn't talk about earlier in the show, Nick Hill. Nick Hill signed a 5-year extension at Southern to stay on as the football coach with the Salukis. DeCoy native, Southern Illinois guy. I know he loves it there, and after the last couple seasons they've had, it's nice to know there's going to remains some stability. I think there's just been a lot of question marks in that athletic department with turnovers with athletic directors, and you bring in a couple of essentially favorite children as your head coaches. Favorite sons, I guess would be the term, to take over your two, biggest athletic programs. And there's been, some question marks on stability and things, but like Nick, happy for him, happy for the Salukis. I think that was a big move for them.
Yeah, I love the move. I was with some of his family Friday night watching the Pinckneyville game. We talked about it a little bit and talked about their game Saturday, and then we won't talk about that game ever again. So, but happy to have Nick. Obviously happy to have Nick and have some stability. Huge because the AD just came in a month ago, and for him to give and agree to give Nick the extension means that they're on the same page. So,
yep. All right. Anything from the world of movies or TV or entertainment?
I was hoping we had a little more time, but can you just describe quickly, because we only got 3 minutes left, what is going on with Don't Worry, Darling?
That was going to be my second question. That was the other question I was going to ask. That's like
the only thing I care about right now.
Did Harry Styles spit on Chris Pine?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So basically, I'll try to give you the short version before we run out of time on Zoom. This is a movie that has been ongoing for a while. It's finally out of post-production. It's ready to premiere. It premiered at the Venice Film Festival over the weekend. It's already had a lot of drama because this is the movie that Shia LaBeouf was notably fired from and replaced by Harry Styles, who then found himself in a relationship with why can't I think of her name now?
Olivia Wilde,
who then famously was served divorce papers from her ex-husband, now Jason Sudeikis. Now there's also the reports that Olivia Wilde and Florence Pugh didn't exactly get along on set. There's, some what's going on with their relationship. Were they professional? Were they not professional on set? Then they go to the Venice Film Festival, and there's a lot of, reports that they never made eye contact. And then there's this video flying around the internet that apparently Harry Styles spat on Chris Pine, who's also in the movie. And the video is interesting. I've watched it several times, and you can't really tell, but the way Pine reacts, I don't know. And now to come to find out that the reviews aren't very good. So I've had this movie like high up on my most anticipated list all year long. And now it's just everything that's going on with this movie, man. It's a mess. It's a mess. So I don't know.
I thought maybe he spit his gum out at him or something.
One of those things. There's a couple different angles of it, and you just can't really tell. I've heard people defend it like he didn't. Like Chris Pine was just kind of reacting to something. I don't know. It's just hard to know. But yeah, the whole thing is a mess. I'm still excited to see the movie, although as I said, the early reviews out of the film festivals and the early critics that have seen the movie are not good. So that's Don't Worry, Darling, that comes out later this month. We're about to shut down. We're about to run out of time. So that's gonna be it for us here at No One Asked Us. He's Craig. I'm Logan. Follow us on all of our social media. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. We will see you guys next week. And go Illini.
Episode 69.